So, I haven't done a video about this in a while because, unsubscribe to this bum because all he does is just spread falsehoods and anger. But someone shared it the other day and his clickbaity title just got to me because I actually did Google search it to see how big of a lie it actually was. And holy fuck, was it a lie? It's like, God, this petition didn't only fail, it epically failed. It fucking epically failed. It's comical how much of a failure this petition was. This petition got so popular that anybody who has actually heard the show knows the petition exists. And yet, it still fucking failed at its job. The only thing this petition was done for was to, quote, remake Game of Thrones Season 8 with competent writers. And yet, what did it do? The head of HBO has said, we're not going to do that. In fact, they've already forgotten Game of Thrones so much that they're moving on to the prequel of it. Because why? Game of Thrones is over. And George R.R. Martin, even though this Gary dumbass said that he turned against it, came out in an interview saying that what he said to the guys of the show and what's in the show is what's going to be in the books. Like how big of a fucking loser these people have to be. It's just comical. We're going to get to the actual article in a minute. I just have to get the laughs out because just think about it. These people pretend like, oh, we know better. We read the books. And yet the guy who actually wrote the books says they're losers. And there's actual quotes from him saying that these people are, that just because these people are angry doesn't mean he's going to change what he's written, because then it would go against what the books are. Because then it wouldn't make sense, because if you read books 1 through 4 and then you randomly change it in book 5 just because a bunch of crybabies are complaining about it, then books 1 through 4 wouldn't make any sense. Good man, George R.R. Martin. Good man. Never let the losers tell you what to do. Never apologize. But yeah, if these morons and their subverted expectations, every time I hear these assholes say that, I just want to smack them across the face. Say, shut the fuck up. I know they love to say that word. That's like, that it gets them horny. Gives them a hard on, but still, that's actually one of the things I subscribed to the moron for, because he kept on saying that word over and over and over and over. And I just hated that I just hate that. So now let's get into the actual article to prove how much of a fucking moron, how much of a liar he is, and how this guy is just clickbaity. I mean, I get that, yeah, he's a YouTuber, and that's actually his full-time job, is YouTubing. So he needs to have clicks in order to survive. And, nothing's going on because it's summertime, and he doesn't have how much can you say about how much you hate the MCU now? Because of Captain Marvel and how they're going woke and everything, and you can't complain about Star Trek and his precious Abdeen or whatever the fuck the guy's name is, because they moved away from that and the lawsuit's going through, so he can't really talk much about it until the lawsuit's over. That's how he got his clicks, and this is what made his channel grow a little more, complaining about Game of Thrones. So he's trying to bring it back in, trying to get back them views, but if anybody did a quick Google search, the first thing that comes up when you search Game of Thrones Season 8 is an article from The Guardian, how they're not actually doing it. And how they would never do it. Yeah. The first thing that comes up when you type in Game of Thrones Season 8 on Google, at least yesterday, is literally articles about how they would never redo Season 8. And I'm talking about the prequel show that they're doing that's going to air in 2020. Those are the only articles you find. So, saying how the petition worked, what the fuck did it do? Showed a bunch of crybabies are complaining about a show? It showed that they don't know what the hell they're talking about because they complain about Jon Snow's supposed to have a hero's journey. He didn't have one. When, if you actually looked at what a hero's journey is, the hero is supposed to return home. Let's see, what did Jon call his home? Because it wasn't where the Starks lived, Winterfell, because he said he never really belonged there because he wasn't actually a Stark. What did he say was his home? Oh, yeah, the Wall. And where did he go after he was banished? Where was he banished to? Oh, yeah, the Wall. So the hero, after learning everything, going on his big trip and mission and everything, journey, returned home. That's a hero's journey. And it wasn't a subverted expectation. Slap, shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch. So now let's go to the article. Winter's not coming. No remake for Game of Thrones last season, HBO says. The clamor of disgruntled Game of Thrones fans for a do-over for the drama's final season has been in vain. HBO programming chief Chrissy Boyle said on Wednesday there was no serious consideration for remaking the story that some viewers and critics called disappointing. This was in July 25th, 2019. The 8th and final season of the hit show, which wrapped in April, was met with outrage by many viewers who complained of rushed episodes, implausible plot twists, and apparent disdain of characters of color. The petition demanding the HBO remake the season with competent writers, posted on change.org, has obtained more than 1.6 million signatures and counting. There are a few downsides to having a hugely popular show like Game of Thrones, Boyle said. But one is that fans have strong opinions and what would be a satisfying conclusion. Boyle said during the TV critics meeting that it came with the territory, adding that he appreciated the fans' passion for the saga based on George R.R. Martin's novels. Emmy voters proved unswayed by the petitioners demanding the remake. They gave Game of Thrones a record-breaking 32 nominations earlier this month. The series also brought record viewerships for the network, with the series finale becoming the most watched episode in HBO's history, according to analytics. Yeah, I think it was like 5 million people watched the ending, and only 1 million people have signed a petition. I mean, that's not like an epic fail like I said it was, but it's still a fail, and it's an epic fail because everybody knows about it, and even the head of HBO knows about it, and he has still said no. He's basically said, sorry, crybabies, you don't like it? Go somewhere else. HBO will want to keep the fan favor alive for the prequel of Game of Thrones in the works. The first episode completed taping in Ireland, and dailies look really good. Boyle said, and the planned series stars Naomi Watts and is set 1,000 years before the original. Asked whether any negative reactions to the Game of Thrones conclusion would shape the prequel, Boyle said, not at all. Why? Because it's also based on stories that Martin has already written. Yeah, if all these morons have forgotten the special features and the stuff they've actually read or seen, it's like, even on Nerdist, they mentioned that the two guys who wrote the show, the DBYs, they only got it, and they only were allowed to, because they guessed the ending properly. They told Martin at an interview what was going to happen. What was the ending going to be? Because he knew he wouldn't finish the books in time. So, the only reason they got to make the show was because they knew what was going to happen. So, if these guys were able to guess that all those years ago just reading the books, yeah, these morons are going to be really upset when Martin says that, when Martin comes out with the books, and it's going to be exactly what happens. I mean, the ones who are complaining about it being rushed, maybe not, because they do have a point. It was a little rushed, because usually there's 13 episodes, this one there's only 7. But the ones who are complaining about the what happened in it, they're going to be really upset. Game of Thrones prequel, Blood Moon, release date, news, and rumors and casting. This was another one to talk about the prequel. It's going to air in 2020, set 5,000 years before the events of Game of Thrones. It's a collaboration between George R.R. Martin and screenwriter Jane Goldman. So, yeah. Of course, it's not going to change it, because Martin probably loves the ending of Game of Thrones. Why? Because that's what he wrote. That's what he's been wanting to write his whole life, since 1990s when he wrote the original Game of Thrones down. If it's anything like me, he would have loved to see that stuff come to life. I mean, yes, it's not exactly the same, because the show has killed characters that are still alive in the books, or the show has not had characters be places where they wouldn't be, as like I know somewhere like some characters didn't like each other in the books, but they're friends in the store and they're friends in the show. Or some BS like that. But of course there's gonna be differences in books and movies. That's why, and TV shows. That's why they're different genres. You can't make it exactly the same. If there was, what's the point? Just listen to the audiobook. So yeah, this is what the guy's thing should have read like. It should have read failure, massive failure, epic fail, waste of time. Aren't we a bunch of fucking losers, crybabies, whatever you want? And say Game of Thrones Petition didn't work. That's what it should have done. That's what the title should have been. That would have been a less clickbaity article title, and that would have been a more honest article. But what do you expect? It's nerd erotic. That's kind of shit he does. Dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe. YouTube is still a free community at the moment. And as always, have a good one.